I'm alive. Almost didn't make it. Still a little sick. How you doing, Karis? So I'm alive. We can get rid of that timer. Mom is muted. It should be you. "12 Seconds of Christmas." The sound working? Jacob having a problem, not me? Ah, okay. I'm gonna get rid of this music. Although it is very tropical. All right. Sticks, how's it going? Sticks are wait, have I been saying that wrong? Hang on a second. I don't even have chat open. I have chat open. Give me a second. Yeah, Sticks is right. Sticks already knows the results. I have no idea here. But I don't even know where to go to check. Let's go to itch. About to find out what happened. Oh, I did. I know. Oh. Oh, dang. Burns a tapper. I know that I sort of made a decision about the controls, and I felt like this probably threw me in. As far as like, thanks. All right. Let me make sure my wife is watching. She wanted to see this. Millman poking in, poking me, poking you, sweet poker line. Checking on the watch. We're watching. Okay. So we'll load it in. Here we go. Brrr. Anyways, I just want to say we're all counting on me. Good luck. Let's see how we did. Overall, so wait, is this the winner? First, so Echoes of Summer. This one I played. I didn't review because I was experiencing issues with it, and I didn't feel like, I don't know, I didn't want to like weigh in on it because I knew it was doing pretty good. And then Sunbird Circuit was second. This one was really good too. And I didn't play this one. This one got third. This one's really cool though. This one's got like a ghosts. So the more people were playing, the more ghosts there were that you were racing. And then we have this one I had a lot of fun with. This was like an arcade barbecue style game. Delightful Sunset, didn't play this one. And here we are, 6th place. Not bad. Out of how many entries? I don't even know. 58. So 6 out of 58 is not bad. We were 4th in theme and originality. And 5th in music. Then overall 6th. 12th on aesthetically pleasing. Okay. And the enjoyability on the gameplay was 18th. Probably didn't help me. So it looks like most people were choosing 3 stars with that. But 5th of theme was pretty high at so not bad. And 25 ratings, so that's pretty unanimous. I'm a winner in your hearts. Yes. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought I nailed the summer theme. But yeah. I did play Echoes of Summer of Light, but I didn't review it because I saw everyone else's reviews and I was very confused because I was having the cards wouldn't work for me. I did things and I literally got fail states in the game where I couldn't continue forward. And so I didn't know if I was completely misunderstanding things, but I kept breaking the game. So I felt like I shouldn't review it because I clearly was doing something wrong. But I would literally get to a point where the game would just stop going. So I just felt like I shouldn't join in, but they got 31 ratings, and so that's they did really good. But yeah, unfortunately, it just didn't work for me. But yeah, we did really good, guys. All right, and now Calvin's officially gonna. He's saying it's okay, Papa. Okay, no, but we did really good. 6 is the highest I've ever gotten in any game jam. Well, it made no sense to us. I mean, very European. How are you doing, handsome? Yeah, it's great. It's great. All right, we did it. It's over. 30 days of hard work. The controls, I knew at the end, I was like, I kind of had a choice to make of either I was going to introduce the WASD. I just felt like getting rid of the idea that it's your hands are far away and moving it to more traditional controls. I don't know. I felt like I was sort of taking away, and it's a jam game, and you're trying to take, a jam is where you're like, I'm going to do something different. I felt like would be a good attempt to try and, stand out. And it hung me, I think, in a way. So overall score was 3.5, which I'm more disappointed over that. What the hell? I feel like I was better than a 3, but I'm close to a 4, so thanks, Em. All right. Well, we did our best. We kicked some butt. I'm going to go down this list here and kind of talk about one of the ones that I really like. This one was really cool, though. I do recommend playing this one. It's a fun little... that's a fun one. I enjoyed. This one's really good, too. This was a Godot one. Technically impressive, and also they used a pseudo 3D approach, which was really cool. And then what else? This one was cool, a little limited in the gameplay. Yeah, I'm bummed. I feel like maybe, the other thing about the controls is nobody really got to explore the actual world. It was a high score. I had to do the timer. I don't know. It's tough. I didn't get to play this one. I tried when I was voting. I tried to play all the ones that I saw nobody was playing, and I tried to make anything with 0 comments. I played and commented on. And then anybody who reviewed me, I reviewed them back because I felt like that was fair. But I was trying to hit up like the people that weren't getting any. But unfortunately, literally the day after the jam, for a day and a half, I was just basically asleep because I was so sick. Wookstock was fun. Big Bob's. Bucket and Spade Emporium. I didn't play this one. Lots of Godot games. Yeah, it's good for jams. Godot's really good for jams. Being able to play in the browser and all that stuff. I will say my game on its own is doing really well for an intro. And I'll go over those stats here in a second. A lot of these I didn't play. And there was that's the hardest thing about a jam is going through and playing it. This looked like fun. I didn't play. My kid played a lot of these though. I was dead asleep, and she was playing most of these while I was asleep. Beach Bounce was one she spent a lot of time on. Yeah, this is the one my daughter loved a bunch. Um, um, yeah, she spent that whole day. Maintenance was fun. Although really hard. This was like a WarioWare kind of style. Um, Kayak game. This had the same controls as mine. It was another Godot game. It actually had the exact same concept of the quote unquote backwards controls, where left is right and right is left, which I guess if you've never kayaked or been in any flotation device or thing where you control with a paddle, I guess you wouldn't intuitively know that that's how it works. But when you're in these things and you paddle on one side, you're not going to go the way you're paddling. It's going to push you the opposite way because you're pushing away. So I think that was another thing that maybe was like, I think if I had gotten rid of the backwards forwards thing, that might have been maybe I should have done that right at the tail end. WASD controls. But yeah, this has the exact same control. It's just auto. It's an auto. Oh wow, you can just roll it inside. Wait, anything spawn on the side? I just figured out how to beat the game. Infinite play. Perhaps. See, I played Beach Brawl, Beach Defense, played that. Played Ancient Scorekeeper. This one was one of those you keep upgrading yourself after each run. Sticker Scramble. This could have been a lot of fun. It had it was a little buggy. It was like a two-player thing. One player played the keyboard, one player played the mouse, and you're dragging stickers for the player to jump. Well, you had this wall of scrambled out writing you were trying to dodge, but it was just kind of glitchy. So it was a cool idea, but it just had a per summer. I'm really disappointed I didn't get to play this because this one seemed to be popular, and no, it had the most playtime on the ones that I saw on the lists. This one was getting a ton of playtime, but I couldn't get it to work. And it had like 1 billion people on the that contributed to it. Mike sounds different today. Let me see. Oh, it's cutting off. Whoa. Hello? It does sound. What's going on? Hello. Deborah. Let's see. I'm gonna decrease the gate. It is weird. I sound muffly. It might just be me being sick. It says back. Okay. Deborah. That's weird. Huh. I don't know if that's helping. Let me bring the denoiser down. Deborah, she fixed it. Okay. Might have been a loose cord, I guess. I am sick. So there's that. I got that going for me, which is nice. Well, I think I made something cool. The onboarding, you know, I guess could have been better. I knew the control thing was a gamble. I really feel like I should have just gone with the WASD. We got sixth. We got sixth, Jacob. Imagine if imagine if the gameplay was enjoyable. Gameplay not enjoyable. That's the part. That's the part. I can't believe that. Well, 3, it was good. It was good. Man, I didn't score. This is crazy to me. Unless there was something critical, I don't know. I guess I'm just more generous with my my scores. So it's weird. Of course, I didn't play this one, so I don't know. But this one was going, like, a ton of people were playing this. Everybody who had joined the jam, basically. Everybody who had joined the jam. Anything else? Sandcastle Defense, I played that one. I played this one here. My daughter played this for like an hour. This was just a card battle game. Anything else I played? Surfer Hero. No, I tried to play this. I couldn't get it to work. I was on Linux. I had to use Wine for a lot of the stuff. I've got to say, if you're on Unity, there is certain configurations that just don't work in Wine. Something about the background, foreground stuff. I think if it's you're doing 3D and you're setting up viewports or something, I'm not sure. I don't know how it works in Unity. Oh, the public I didn't know the public could. Oh, I could have sent my crew out. A 5-game crew to get through before they could vote freely. Ah, I should have sent you guys out there. Okay, that explains it. As far as I was seeing accounts that were registered after the jam, I was like, what the fuck's going on here? I was seeing accounts that were registered after the jam voting, and I was like, what? I was like, what the hell's going on here? I didn't know either. I had no idea. Man, I could have sent my bros out. Made it a popularity contest. Well, I know I got 6 on my own, so that's nice. But I would have had that would have forced my audience to play 5 games and then been like, okay, now vote mine up. Vote it up. That's funny. All right. Well, we did good, guys. I think we did great. I'm gonna mess around with the controls. It does seem to. Okay, so let's talk about the actual game. So let's go over to the analytics here. So a lot of these, I know based on the reviews that I got, that these browser plays are no way just from the jam. Although that was this is today so far. So these plays are like, this is in no way from the jam. 75 of those are me. Well, then never mind. Maybe there's no, but our CTR is really bad. And I think that's because we have kind of I have a crappy thumbnail, admittedly. I didn't spend any time on that. Of the views, we got about a half that end up playing. It's almost right down the middle. A little more than that, like 58% or so. The CTR is click-through rate, so that means that it was an impression somewhere that somebody saw. It really depends on the accuracy of itch and if it's detecting whether or not it was even on the screen. Sometimes the CTR can be misleading because it's not actually tracked properly. SCRT. It's an old screen type. Yeah, it's you remember the TVs you hear the ring on, and it was really heavy and made of glass, and yeah. Im's too young for that. She doesn't remember. But we did show up on Popular, new and Popular. For actually, these numbers are growing. So people are still finding us from new and Popular. These are on itch. No, look at this. There's another one. New and Popular. New and Popular. Wow, look at this. Yeah, people are finding us from new and Popular, so that's all organic. I'm not doing any of that. I just put the game out. And we did get if you're not on the Discord, I can go over some of the reviews. This is pretty good though for not telling anyone about it. Obsidian played it. We all know Obsidian in the chat, and he gave some really good reviews. But this is totally what am I doing here? Oh yeah, +1 these, +1 my own stuff. I feel like I shouldn't do that. But I'm gonna. This is glorifying me. I'm gonna put this one up. We're gonna put this one down. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, this is totally unsolicited. So this is just from the itch community. And again, the suggestion of see the fact that it was spelled QPOW means that they're not familiar with the co-op concept. So again, I would go WASD. They say. And to use, we've also had the suggestion of people using the mouse to move. So if I go, when I plan on doing WASD, W will be forward, S will be backwards, and A and D will rotate left or right accordingly. Now, see, the thing is I want to do it the logical way if you've ever actually kayaked, but then I think people will be like, it's confusing because it's backwards, and it's like, it's not! That's how it works! Jamoween jams, twin sticks on a controller. Yeah. Yeah, Obsidian's a great Godot developer. He's on itch all the time under the same username. I wonder if just the arrows should have been like the keys plus arrow and animate the key being pressed. Or, yeah, the 3D model was definitely part of the problem. Not reflecting what was actually happening and not having the model reflect that properly was a problem. And I had the idea to remove the model and put in a cute little like a little chibi character that's just like sort of floating. But the problem is M's voice work was already there, and it was so good that it was like, well, I can't get rid of that, because if I put in this non-humanoid character and then we have this disassociated voice from it, it doesn't make any sense. And fast action, yeah, the modeling. I'm imagining we could also kind of maybe turn it into a slightly of a Gooner game too, because if we have the model, like, you know, but I don't know that that's what I really want to do. Just needs more feedback and juice. Yeah. So like the percentage. So the CTR is the percentage of it was displayed on the screen, and of the 100 displays, about 2.5 people click on them. Am I gonna make it into a commercial game? I don't know. That's kind of what I want to figure out today, is maybe my approach going forward, because I have this idea of just competing on volume, and if I just release a lot of things and then I iterate on the ones that I'm getting some kind of reaction to, is that a way to do this? Where I go, okay, people are responding to this InnerTube thing. Okay, I'm gonna work on improving it. The problem with that is, do I do early access, which can actually kind of mess up? I think early access would be the way to go. Because then you have a dedicated community of people who actually like the thing and want to see it improve. I don't think doing a Kickstarter for the games or anything like that is a good idea if I want to go early access. I think that combination is bad. Because then you end up giving a bunch of people keys that now can't review your game. This is something that Jacobs brought up before, which I think is a very valid point. A cool Switch cane. The Joy-Cons lend themselves perfectly to the controls. Yeah. Well, it's funny. It does have controller support, and I just had the shoulder buttons for it. So, and I'm realizing I should probably have swapped them around, but the top shoulders should have been forward, and the bottom ones should have been backwards. But I didn't advertise that because the trigger buttons on the controllers are analog, and it was creating this problem of, like, I needed to integrate detecting when the controllers were being released and then pressed back down again, because a full button press with the analog controls in Godot means that you've completely let go of it. Gooner game means a game for people that are lonely. You know how it could just be a Sudoku game, but then it's like a strip Sudoku. That kind of thing. But like, you've got these, like, you could have these hot people getting wet, flipping around on the InnerTube. Oh, I fell on the InnerTube. Oh, look at me. Or just like, there's possibilities there. Oh man. Applies to thirsty gamers. That's the way to put it. But look at this, guys. Look at the board here. If you haven't seen it recently. I don't get it. How about it's appeals to teenage gamers? That's another way to put it. I'm gonna turn the music down. But look at all these. This is my daughter right here. She still has the high score. You guys cannot beat an 8-year-old right now. You guys are getting owned by my daughter, and I didn't tell her how to play or anything. That's why I get a little about the controls. I'm like, I don't know. So I do wonder about the controls, about like it's onboarding, it's explaining. I need to. I was imagining more of like, you're in these gated areas and you have to do these things in order to move forward and actually play the game. But again, it was a jam game. So it's like, I have to, and my instinct was like, okay, you've got to let go of this. You have to let go of this. And I didn't. And so I feel like that maybe was part of it. I should be in 9th. I got robbed. Yeah. I would never name myself Jerko. But a lot of scores here. Look at this. My wife got robbed. Her score never showed up. She says she should be in 9th. So I think her browser was like not on the internet, or the post didn't happen. And my code isn't checking to be like, did it succeed or did it fail? And so I think that my wife got screwed by my jam code. We got somebody representing China here. And the Scotland flag is missing. Was that the one that's missing? So I gotta figure out what's going on there. Sorry about that. Fiera did really good. Colt did pretty decent too. QMP. So they wanted to say alternating Q and P. Oh, like you're doing this? Like you're swimming. Yeah. I feel like with a few moments of experimentation, it sort of clicks. But yeah, again, without watching somebody, god damn, I feel like I polished the fuck out of this too. That's the part where I'm like, that's the part that kills me, is there's a whole game here that people didn't probably get to experience. And I think this is why analytics and stuff is important when you're a lone indie developer. QP. Yeah, it was just a time thing. I think if I had like another art person or something in the jam with me, the tutorialization of everything would have been a breeze. The other thing too is the coyote time for forward. I should have gotten rid of it. I did it because I liked the tapping thing. Clearly people don't like that. And that's what my daughter was doing. I think that's why. But one thing though, no complaints about the game's performance. So that was really good. It is buttery smooth even on my potato. So it runs really well. There is a bug that I discovered, but nobody complained about. Oh, see, that was a shader compilation there. I wonder what shader it was. That little hiccup. But the ones that did play it, the ones that I could tell from the reviews. So let's go to the ones that actually did play it. That got it and played it. They really enjoyed it. Like this one right here, takes time to get used to the controls after several tries, but overall it's a fun little experience. Although they could have easily, yeah. But yeah, lots of reviews. Just found the area with hundreds of cans. Yeah, I didn't get to finish. That was the thing, is I saved the design of everything to the very, very last day. I don't know that I could have made this game with another programmer, because I kind of had to just fly. Buttery smooth on the potato. But no, I think there's a possible game here, and I think I probably should pursue it. The question for us is, how do we do that? Like, what's the approach for Steam? It's $100 to get the thing on Steam, right? So we have to make at least $100 to start making $100 in sales to start making any dollars back. And more than that, actually. So that helps us determine price even. Because what games are close on Steam? How do we even figure that out? I have to turn off Gooner mode on Steam though, because right now my Steam is unlocked. I don't know about looking at other games in that sense. I don't really think there's any games like this, but I could be wrong. I think I know what succeeded and failed on this as far as like so far. Like for instance, if I was to pursue this as an actual game, this would become a much more linear experience. This was like if the game that I wanted to make was then suddenly open world. This was not ultimately, I'll say that when I had the idea, this was not what I wanted it to be. But I also knew that because I was making a jam game, and I could put my wife to work on the level design. Find your market niche. Yeah, that part I agree with. I worry about looking at other games as like, oh, this is the game I should be exactly like. But yeah, finding who would play this, I think, is a hard question to answer. How do I turn off the Gooner mode? Do you guys know how to turn off Gooner mode in Steam? Is it when you do searches or something? Yeah, I don't even know how I unlocked it. And of course, right now, what's going on with Steam makes finding out how to turn this off hard because there's all the controversy going on right now. Hide ignored items. Store preferences. Top right. Okay. Oh, geez. Docs my actual account name. That's great. All right, we're going to get rid of that. All right, so all the adult games we're getting rid of. But graphic violence we're going to keep because that's okay. Okay, there's no save button. All right, so we're set. So how do we do actual research for Steam? Does anyone know? I don't know. I do think that this is something that I could get ready for a demo release for a Next Fest of, say, I think next year they're doing an after spring one. Look through tags that would relate to my game. Steam. But is there like a Steam stats for Steam charts and SteamDB? So Steam has its own charts. What would I search for though? I look through tags that would relate to my game. So how do we look through tags? Tags. Water? Underwater? Ocean? Lake? Swim? Paddle? Boat? How about this? I think I'm in a new genre space here, guys. I don't know. Yeah, no, this is what I'm gonna do. I was gonna do the ChatGPT thing too. So I'm gonna take this, go to ChatGPT. I don't want to show my. I have my whole chat history here. Can I hide it? Okay. I've made a inner tube, a 3D game where the player controls
Get ready for the
a character
ride of your life
in an inner tube and paddles to move the character around. It's arcade-like and has What? Based on that description, based on what tags from Steam, Valve's Steam store would be good to use to find similar games? Whoop. From below. Use the below tags. See, this is, I know everything why the LLM can't give me what I want from this. And that the result will, I'm not going to say why, but based on your description, indie, action, casual, single player, 3D, physics, third person. Runner. It could be a runner, yeah. It went all right, else. I didn't realize I could have you guys vote in the jam. So I feel like a big dummy. Feel like a big dummy, you guys. Could have had my whole crew out there. But we got 6th place overall, and we got I can go back to the stats. Let's see. We got 4th in the theme. And this is common for me. I tend to rank really high in theme. Yes, yeah, not bad out of 56 entries or so. Innovative and originality, I got 4th. Sounds and music, 5th. Come on! This is bullshit. I'm sorry. That one I'm personally taking offense to. I didn't do any of it. But it was perfect. The fuck. But this is this is the one that hurt. The enjoyability of the gameplay, we got 3 stars out of 5 on the whole. We were talking about how I should have just ditched it all and gone with the WASD, and that probably would have bumped that up and maybe gotten us a higher score. But I was saying that it's a jam, and it's a jam is like, I feel like that's the time you try to do something different, because when else are you going to? And and I feel like that's how you stand out in jams. But it was the onboarding, and I think that people missed out on the game as a whole just because of it. So, and I knew in the back of my mind, especially at the last day, I was like, oh, I should change this. I should change this. But I was just so locked in, and I couldn't do it. And I knew a change like that could potentially really screw up the game. No, I know. I'm just like, I feel like for instance, the reason why I'm all what the hell about this is because this was ranked higher, but I feel like this Im's voice acting was like way, I mean, you don't expect that at all in a jam game. Like, but whatever. I think it might have been, her voice work might have been so good people thought it was from something else, or was from like some kit thing. And launch it for real. That's what we've been talking about. I guess I should change the title. ChatGPT suggests Tubin as a reference when I ask for Steam references. That's funny. It's really the only paddle tubing based game besides this one. It's a really underappreciated genre of gameplay. Audio implementation of different things. Yeah. Look above. Oh, Cozy Beach demo. Tube Tussle. Oh, there are some other tube games. Snow tubes. Tube Tussle. See, the problem here is, and this is one of the catch-22s. Like, if you put tube in the title, maybe I'll find it. But there could be other inner tube-based gameplay Steam games we don't know about because they didn't put tube in the title. Tube Tussle. Let's see here. I thought a gameplay mode that might be fun is 2 people in the inner tube. And one person's controlling one side and one person's controlling the other, but... yeah, I think... yeah. But admittedly, 5th is great. So... yeah. Okay, so I'll just say if you're making a trailer and you're gonna don't control the in-game camera, you could just set up a tween just for the trailer. Mixed reviews. They have VSync off. This game is broken as hell. Don't play. Your PC will set on fire. How do you know your game? You forgot to turn off VSync?
Final 2, Mamma Mia and Stabrina.
Stabrina and Mamma Mia.
Stabrina just got pushed.
Oh my goodness, Stabrina is about to go out, and that is a winner. Kraken's dinner right there.
Oh my
Mamma
goodness.
Mia is the champion. I cannot believe they dethroned the Bobfather.
Huge decrease in brain cells. Now I'm in a coma and I'm paralyzed from the waist down. Please don't install this game or you'll get coronavirus. Party Brawler. Okay. Snow Tubes. Coming soon. Okay. Well, hard to judge what we're looking at there. We probably know good racing games. Racing and collecting kind of going for you. Yeah, I feel like see, even they're walking the X and the Y axis. I agree with Els about the bounciness, like that it needs to be like bobbing. And now that I know how to control, I actually know how to inject my own physics into it, into the angular velocities and the forces. I can inject my own behavior into the physics body on top of things. And that was all stuff I learned at the very tail end of the jam. I have to say, so doing this jam like unlocked a workflow for me that I had never done before, where I feel like I figured something out about how to make the way that I want to make games in the way that Godot wants to make games, and sort of make it work together. Where Godot has it's an engine, so it has an opinion about the way that a game should be developed. And some of that I disagree with. But I'm learning now how to make it agree with me. Where I'm like, no. We don't have to do all that. Here's what we're doing. Thank you all. Thanks everybody for the feedback. I want to show, like, really quick, I'll show the stats again really quick. So this is the overall score. What was the overall score? Does that show up somewhere? Oh, 6. I don't know that it shows the overall. Let's go over here. Our total score was 3.6 out of 5, which, judging how brutally people review games on jams, this is really good. Yeah, I'll link to it. Now, I'll say something. This game, for me, I had it in my list to review, but it kept breaking for me. And so I felt like, because of the number of positive reviews that I kept seeing for it, I felt like I was getting something wrong. And I felt like I shouldn't, because I felt like at the time it was late in the jam and the reviews were coming in, and it was like me and this game and a couple others that were like getting the most reviews. And I felt like if I came in and be like, hey, yo, nothing worked, it was all broken, and they ranking it like whatever, I feel like, I don't know. I don't think that, I felt like it wasn't a good look, so I didn't end up reviewing it. I had a bunch of problems with it. I couldn't get it to, like, it kept breaking for me. I kept finding things that would break. And so and I'm sure that was happening with people in my game, and I just never exposed it to myself or whatever. But there was like a couple of times where I would get into it, and then there would literally be like a lock state. The game I would be at a, what do they call it? When, I was a game lock. Like I couldn't proceed. Something had finished and I was supposed to put a button to go to the next thing and it wouldn't go, and that kind of stuff. But this one was really cool. This was like a RC Pro-Am style game, and it had some really impressive like tech in it. It had a ghost system in it. And so this one was well deserved, I feel like. And then this one was a lot of fun too. The Kimball's cassette barbecue was good. I didn't play this one. This one was kind of cool. Bit straightforward, but still really good. Even the winner is number 13. Oh yeah, no, this was yeah. But anyways, I didn't know I could tell you guys to vote, so I screwed that up. But it's fine. So the other thing about Root and Tubin we were talking about earlier is the overall stats here. So we're getting a lot of browser plays throughout the day, and it is getting hits from new and popular on itch. So if I was to make, so the thing I was talking about is I didn't make the game that I imagined I wanted to make because I was making a jam game. And so what I was imagining more was a sort of like an auto runner, but designed, where you start out, it's always the same starting point for each stage, but then the stage itself has like forking paths. If you've ever played Downhill Domination or SSX, that style of game, Downhill Domination is probably more close to what I would be imagining overall. Yeah, SSX is a good one for an example of what I was imagining. So Downhill Domination is another one. This is a BMX like racing game. And you're just going down a hill. And there's like different routes and paths you can take. And part of the game is sort of trying out different racers, improving your bike, and discovering different paths and stuff like that. And you have, like, this is a lot of the direction that I was giving M on voice is a lot related to this. Is that Gwen Stefani, ladies and gentlemen?
Can you still see me there?
No.
I'm taking you to school, mate.
Yeah, so this is not this intense, but the idea that like there is, for the inner tube concept, it would be that there would be like points of no return where you're falling down like a waterfall area or something, or like a small drop where you could never possibly go back. And then slowly there's like more inclination areas where there's like rapids and stuff like that. And there's different pickups and things like that that you get along the way, and obstacles that you have to dodge, and like things that can hurt you and stuff. And you're just trying to get to the end. Is it a race? I don't know. Are there other inner tubers? I don't know. Is it multiplayer? I mean, that would be a whole nother thing. But I feel like you set a game up like this and then people might expect something like that or really want it. Mini cricket. Oh, Mini, you don't have to say stuff like that, sweetie. I appreciate you, love. But it's okay. It's a jam. It's a jam. This is what happens. Collecting points. Right. So I focused on the jam Rex. And in the back of my head, I was like, I'm making a thing that I could then make into this other thing that like I would want this to be. But in the world of the jam game, I was stuck with the timer countdown, and I was stuck with like a lot of stuff where I was like, I really don't want this, but I kind of have to put it. I have to make it this way because that's what will fit for a jam. A short timer. We're talking about people having a chance to try it again and things like that. And so it's like, okay, I have to have a timer. I really don't want one. But it kind of makes sense because we're dealing with a jam, and it's like, so like the time gates and stuff like that probably would all be a little different. That would be more like a slalom thing. Yeah. But yeah, SSX Tricky is like the good one, right? Yeah, we don't want one DMC to come after us, so we're gonna mute that. Like out of context in the editors, the mesh for these levels is wild. Oh, for sure. Because it's basically a 40 degree, like, it's like you might as well rotate the scene so that it's just flat so that you could design it and like, yeah. Yeah, these must be wild to look at. And there was like, that was another reason why I couldn't do what I wanted to do as well, is because there was like technical things about it. He's going backwards, bros. Look at that. 10 times bigger than they seem. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because of the camera and the perspective and everything. Yep. That was another thing that I noticed about. I started pulling the camera way back, and then the field of view, exploding that way more than I was expecting to have to. Even for what I was doing. This guy is completely playing in a way I've never seen anyone play this before. He's like, doesn't even care about the downhill part. I remember as somebody who kind of understood game development, when I would play this game, this trail here was like, I was enamored by it. The snow pack, when you would when you hit the snow, this, I was like, whoa. But now I know how simple that is. It makes me giggle. Not the other one, buddy. So much as a certain direction but collecting points, so you'd want to change it to have more of a set track. Linear, yeah. Multipath linear. So eventually you're reaching an end goal. And maybe the different so the overall, like, hey, look, I had this whole time. Excuse me for my gross burps. But yeah, so right now it's open world, right? So it's like, oh, you can go anywhere. And there's no, you know, the thing I was telling my wife when we were trying to design the levels, and it was, you know, we were running out of time and everything, but I was like, sightlines are really important and like clearly defined, like you could look at an area and be like, oh, I know where I am, kind of thing. Because it became more of like an open thing. But in what I'm imagining, what I wanted it to be is a lot more like Toobin was, where it's like, oh, you start out and you're going this way. And then it's like, oh, there's a path. I can go this way or I can go this way. And then you pick one and it's like, okay. And then it's like, oh, there's another path, or maybe there's a third path. It's like, okay, well, and then this one goes off and it does its own thing. And then maybe some of them merge back into each other, right? So it's like, oh, I've been here before, but I got there a different way. And you're going down and you're down and then down and down. And then eventually there's some sort of like finishing point. And like maybe, depending on where you end up on the finishing line, like the final choice of route you pick, that unlocks on a holistically, like on the entire stage world, of like, this is one stage, so this would be one block of like game, right? That's like, there's the core loops are in here, and then the outer loop of the game becomes, okay, that's stage whatever. And then there's an overall like implication that is you're part of a bigger world, and there's now that you've gotten to this point here, you've unlocked this stage here from this one, right? And then like if you get to the regular ones, then it unlocks like, and that then if we imply to the player based on the routes that they see in front of them, this one's more dangerous and difficult, this one looks a little bit easier, right? They can kind of choose their difficulty and they can just keep going. It's like, I kind of suck at this, but I'll just keep playing. And so it takes them down sort of an easier route. And if they want to go back, they can and get kind of break out these like more challenging areas. So the overall like map could show like that stage still has some stuff you could do, but you've been going this way. And like there's a bunch of stuff you don't have, and we're going to tell you about it, but we're not going to tell you exactly where it is and everything. You got to go back and it's in here. And it's a path that you haven't taken or whatever, right? And maybe we could be a little more hand-holdy about it, and it could be like
clearly be like, at the start of the stage, you could have a little thing that says, show me the path that I haven't taken or whatever. Or we could just indicate that with a special like in-game graphic or something. But yeah, and for this design to work, I needed to have a way of chunking out the stage and not loading the entire thing in, but be able to load ahead the possible paths in front of us. And then it involves designing the look of everything so that you're not like, you have enough obstructed view that it shouldn't be showing you beyond a certain point anyways. And then so you always have the last thing behind you to drop in memory once it's 1+ behind you or 1 - 2 behind you. You know, if you're at 0, it would be -2, and then we'll drop it out. And then we're always loading 1+ ahead, or 1 ahead, right? And so we're just constantly caching the stage stuff out. And so that involved designing like a level designer and stuff that it wasn't going to work for the jam. There's no way I could get that going. I miss SSX. This game is for me. 12 feet up. This is a game that was recently released like SSX that I followed. Fiero, what's up? Okay, so from a multiplayer perspective, because of how my water shaders work, if I was to do something like that, it wouldn't be too impossible because the water shaders are synced on time. So long as on the network code we're constantly syncing our clock and being like, hey, we got to make sure we're on the same time here. Then local calculation of physics would still apply because we can say, okay, we know we're on the same time. So if I hit the wave right here, everything's going to respond a very specific way. So all I have to do is tell the other client roughly, I'm going this fast in this direction. And the client can simulate the other player's physics, but constantly be corrected by the clients being like, no, this is where I actually am, kind of thing. And it should like, that should, like, for phasing, like phase shifting or whatever you would call it, I don't know what you call it with netcode, it should be possible to basically fake what we're seeing and do gradual adjustments and have it look right without a lot of like jitter or stuff like that. But netcode would be a big thing. So I think just focusing on a solid single player game would be a nice thing. Yeah. Steep is cool, but SSX is better. Is Steep one of the new ones? The sort of like Tony Hawk run thing is like really satisfying. And like getting really good at like a run and like... Man, they spent a lot of time or money on that and didn't show the game at all. Yeah. It's brutal. Get back on there. There's some weird meta commentary in this game. They're in cages, and then they're in a tub. Why aren't they just out in the ocean when you're changing them? Why are they in like a tub that's barely filled with water? I don't think it's intentional. I think these are all assets that they had, you know? Because it's not even a clean tub. You know, like at least have the tub be clean. This is like this is like the Morro Bay Aquarium. You go there and you just want to free all of the animals there because you're like, oh my god, this is horrific. You're like, this is fucking awful. Oh my god. There was an otter or something that like was attacking humans that in the area, and it turned out that it had lived in the it had been a captive animal in the aquarium and had gotten out or something. And it's like, no wonder it's fucking treated horrible by humans its whole life, most likely. And it got out, and it's like, fuck these guys. Whenever I see one, oh, my kids are watching this. Whenever I see them, I'm gonna assault them. No, no, that's how they found out it had gotten out or something, and they put it back in, and then it got out again or something. It was still attacking people. Oh, I mean the seals. Maybe they were released from the zoo. Maybe. This is weird though. That's weird because then you go to this pristine, ultra clean Mario Kart world, but then there's this like raw, like they're in cages, like right here. This is the weird part. They're, I know it's because they had the assets, but it's still very strange. It's strange. It's just strange. Yeah, it's very strange. Like this is their only moment of joy, but it's competition for some like human overlords. That's the implication, unintentional. The diegetic presentation of the game is like implying this dark underbelly. Like. The water's great. So this is all like probably... This is Unreal, most likely, right? It looks Unreal. In any of them, yeah. There's a certain thing about the blurring and stuff though that's reading Unreal. Interesting. Okay. Mixed reviews. Local co-op. Absolutely horrendous performance. So this is Unreal. Sorry, bros. The game is a glutton for resources. It's probably Unreal. It's somebody who doesn't know how to optimize Unreal. Shots fired. Nah, it's just like out of the box. You can really blow your foot off with Unreal, I think. Its visuals do not appear intense enough to be this graphically demanding. Yeah, it sounds like Unreal. So either the game is assembled poorly or Roland is using my GPU to mine. Roland? Do they know the developer personally? Roland Studios. Okay. Have they done other things? Flipper Frenzy. And then there's something called Daydreamer. Oh. Okay. Gameplay's fun. I can play pretty much any other game smoothly, but for some reason, this is what I'm telling you about performance on Steam. You might not care about it, but it helps. This is a bad review based solely on performance. Your game should run good on potatoes for your Steam reviews to be higher up. The only exception that people have for this kind of shit is quote unquote AAA, where they expect to not be able to run the game and they're like, oh, I just don't have a good enough machine. Oh well. It's great. I love it. Everyone else is saying that. But when you're a little dude, you gotta think about this, because like I really think this will do you in. I'm so good at game dev, I don't even need Unreal to get bad performance. What sucks is it's probably stupid simple to fix if they just profile it. Yep. Poorly optimized. I get 1 FPS even in the main menu, despite the fact that my computer meets the minimum requirements of the game. Do we want another minimum requirement? Runs like hot ass no matter what PC you have. And there's something to do with the customization screen that causes it to fatal error without missing a beat. To be honest, it's really funny idea in Goofy Steel Racing game, but I'm all for it. But bro, you gotta optimize it, please. There's 138 reviews. Holy shit. That's really good. Like, I mean, just frankly, that's good. This guy's made some money on the game. Oh, it's free to play. Free to play. So this is even more confusing to me. I'm super confused now. It's early access. Oh, okay. All right. Runs like hot ass. Okay. What's the minimum requirements on this thing? Just out of curiosity. 16 gigs of memory, an RTX 2070, or an AMD RX 6700 XT with 8 gigs of RAM. Requires DirectX 12 and 8 gigs of available storage space. What? What? Okay. Recommended. An i7. And even on the minimum, it's an i7. What the fuck? I don't know. I don't think I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to I don't know. That's pretty wild requirements. Now Slope Crasher's very positive overall. Let's just check the Rex real quick. i5, that's reasonable. 4 gigs, that's reasonable. A GTX 660. This is all completely reasonable. 5 gigs of available space still seems really high, but there's a lot of like variation going on here that looks like, oh, okay. And I don't think there's a lot of complaints about. There's rubber banding. Everyone bitches about rubber banding in games like this. It's even got a Japanese review. That's cool. Wow, they wrote like an essay. Oh, okay, that's not Google Translate. Multilingual with Japanese added. Snowboard Kids, which is released for the N64. My two favorite games for the N64 are the original Super Snowboard Kids. Wow, this person really gave it some thought. This is incredible. Snowboard Kids. High hopes for the game. Love SSX3 so much. Thoroughly enjoy kart racing games. I feel almost every aspect of this game quite isn't hit the mark. So here's where I'm hesitant, guys. I mean, I feel like it's a decent game, what I have, and all that stuff. But this, for instance, this is grabbing like a nostalgic element for people. We're dealing with my reference for this game is a game that was released in what 88 as an arcade game, and I'm specifically building the gameplay around the arcade game, not the console releases, which totally nerfed the original controls. Am I looking for a game to play? No. We have this game that I finished called Root and Tubin for a game jam. You can check it out here if you hadn't. I think you were here when I was doing some of the development chronicle. And we're talking about like the path forward. Like what do we do with this? Do we pursue a release on Steam? Like do we try to make it into a full idea? Might bridge what users wanted to see in Steam Tubin. Yeah. Well, I also think by having a continuous movement of like a current that pulls you, we might be able to free up the controls a little even more. Where it's like, well, you're not really going back. It's more about going forward and adjusting what way you're going when you're going forward. But I do like the idea of there being like areas where you're going and it's rapids and then you're now in another area and it's like, oh wow, this is like a secret zone and there's a bunch of shit I can collect and stuff. And then we can move on, but it's like a big reward for finding like a hidden area. And then you go back onto the path and you keep going and that kind of thing. So I might play it. Is it WebGL? Yeah, the controls. You might not like the controls. It's you'll be able to play it in your browser. Yeah, the problem here is getting discovered. So exploration, combat racing. So I guess part of this is, are we a racing game or aren't we? How do we search the Steam charts and all this stuff? Oh wow, it crashed. Based on what I've been seeing. Otherwise, it's like Subway Surfer, and that's mobile market. Hey, buddy. I love you, doggy boy. You're my Jeremy Sheppies. Hey, we're getting those wipes for your ears. They're coming soon. Will you let us use them on you? It's got aloe and all kinds of stuff to help with your itchiness. Excited about that? Yeah. Love you. Oh, I love you. We're holding hands right now. Like we're going steady. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God, he's got me. Christ almighty. Calvin, I'm too sick right now. Yeah, I don't know that the racing thing is exactly what I was imagining. Doctor Tactics said or learn things that might be proper for my game. Yeah, I just feel like this is kind of a weird idea that's not quite like is there a chill racing game or like a chill like journey? Like these games where you sort of are just, it's just about the movement and you're just sort of going on your own. Like, I kind of like the idea that you could pick the lazy river route, you know, where you're the dad who's on vacation and the kids can run around in the water park and you just want to get drunk on the inner tube, right? So you can play the game that way and go down like the lazy river areas and be like, oh, that's real cool. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's, you know, you're just like, whatever. Or it's like, you're like the jacked up, roided out cop on vacation who sees everyone as a threat. And I could take that guy. Let me show that guy what I could do. And so you got to get all that roid rage out, you know? So you're like going down the like competitive route and you're like, ah, I can do it. So. Hold me back, bro. Ah. A lot of this about myself. I feel like, yeah, learn things that might be proper for my game. So here's how I'll put what I'm talking about. When I say how do I get found, like, I guess it is more about like what thumbnail, what does the first seconds of the trailer look like? That's how we get found. Like, if I design the game in a certain way, how do I put that out to tell people that's what it is, to get people that would be like, oh, that looks cool. More so than how do I tell them that it's exactly like all this other stuff when that's not what I was wanting to make. Does that make sense? Because my gut, at this point, I think I can listen to my gut a lot more than I thought I could. Because I was pretty much right about the controls in the back of my head, and my gut, especially near the end, was like, you should just WASD this crap. And just like, I'm sorry, Matt, you love this, but I don't think anyone else is going to like get rid of it. And I think I should have listened to that. So like, I think if I go forward, what I want the game to be thing, I'm going to listen to a lot. And so I think I'm going to listen to that like way more and go, okay, this is what I wanted to go do. And that's where I think there's a lot of fun and people would respond to that. And then the question is, okay, now if we do that, how do we get people to see it and respond to it on Steam? Because I believe in the Steam algorithm to the degree that if you show something people would be interested in, they will respond to it with wish lists and all that stuff. I believe that that's exactly how it works. And so I worry that when I see this kind of stuff here, like, not this one's not what I'm talking about. But I think this is such a weird idea anyways that I should just kind of lean into that. I just sent Mr. Pig flying after a tennis ball. He's crying. He's like, don't do it, Papa. Yeah, he's got a hot ear right now. He's got like a flare in his left ear. And I had him wear a cone and it fixed it for a while. But he's a dangerous, he will destroy things. A German Shepherd in a cone means that your TV is now broken. Like, that's exactly what it means. And it means that like everything of personal belonging is going to be knocked off shelves and shit. Come on, cow. Come on, buddy. But we got some wipes we're gonna try. He threw it and he was like, zoom. Sometimes it needs to cook, yeah. Well, I guess what I'm saying, Jacob, is specifically I'm not sold on trying to look at, because I don't feel like I could find something that's quite like this anywhere. Not without knowing about it. That's sort of what I'm worried about, though. Is like, if there is a market for this, I don't even know what I would search to find the damn thing. I guess it might make more sense to search YouTube. Or not YouTube, but Google Steam paddle game. Paddle, paddle, paddle. How does that one doing, by the way? That one we just saw coming out while I was working on the Steam game. It was made in like a month, same as mine.
Do you want to know the best thing about being
Look at this.
We're not playing this anymore.
117 positive. So Jacob had tracked this one down. Very positive.
Relax. Relax.
Do you want to know the best thing about being dead? We're not playing this anymore.
That's true. That is true.
What a beautiful day to go on a paddle adventure.
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Relax. 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 Oh my fucking god.
No, no, no! We got it. We got it.
Yes! Yes! Relax. Relax.
You relax.
I am relaxed.
I'm perfectly calm.
Yes!
No, please. No, no, no. That was so close. Here we are, further away from being relaxed.
$2K sells at $2.99. So that's Jesus. And then so he's probably made, that's like 20K. Right, 20K sales. So that's, he's probably made 20K. Right? I mean, after Steam's chunk and everything. At least, maybe 40. Right? How much does Steam take? I mean, you got to count your government taking a chunk out too, right? Sure do take a bite out, don't you? Steam's 30%. So that's 41,000. $860, and then after government, so that's 40K, about probably a little bit less than that, and then whatever costs and expenses and everything to get people 57, just a good guess of taxes. Yeah, so yeah, probably like 25K, something like that. %20 for profit, and anything else I call a nice surprise. Yeah. It's all right, Colt. We're rebounding. A tubing game with co-op would be great. My best memories of the days floating down rivers. All my, yeah. I mean, so that would be an interesting thing to do, is to do the multiplayer thing where you're in different tubes and you're just sort of and just sort of like there's the chill co-op aspect of it, and you can be dicks about it, or you can just be like, yeah, let's try to go down the hard route. Okay, so I think each one of you paddle. Yeah, I mean that's exactly what's happening here. I mean, there's the Nessie level on, is it Bessie? What's the Super 3D World? Is it Nessie levels? Bessie? Pipeline Lagoon. You guys know what I'm talking about? Super Mario 3D World. There's like Bessie or Nessie or Plessy. Is it Plessy? Yeah. So there's the Plessy levels in 3D World. Oh, we're in the I Hate Cops YouTube thing. I gotta sign out. I'm on the wrong YouTube account. So with one player, this is like totally different. And yeah, this is, you know what's funny is the controls that I have now are very, very close to this. I think this is why I instinctually wanted to add a jump. I didn't even realize it. I was like, there probably should be a jump. Don't jump, it slows you down. Go on those boosts, what are you doing? He doesn't have the need for speed. I'll tell you that. I'm an amateur at this, but asking a question, what is the connecting games that you could relate to a streamer so they relate, play, and share your game? Yeah. No, I agree with that. I do think though a big part of it is just make a good, like a fun game. And I feel like if I try to coordinate it to become like it's like this, then I start to kind of remove that. Like some people are literally suggesting basically FPS controls for this, and it makes no sense. And it's like, well, that's like part of the game is the the feel of the inner tube and everything like that. Is like a big part of it. So to take all that away, it's like, well, now you're just sort of like running around like Doom Guy, but in water. So, and I don't think that's exactly what they mean, but it's kind of the initial reaction I get sometimes. I think WASD is for default is a good idea, but I think offering up, hey, there's this kind of other cute way of doing it, and maybe making it so that's like, this is actually like, if you get good at it, it's like the better way to do it. Because WASD actually does have limitations that the flapping thing doesn't. And so it actually does liberate and give you more granular controls. The flapping way is superior. That's why my daughter has the high score, guys. That's why all you guys are being beaten by an 8-year-old. She's embraced the flapping. That was like a greeting before the Sala game. Right. Sorry, the shepherd's shepherding. So today is a good day to talk about it. I think you're right, Jacob, about like lining it up. Like, I just don't know about coordinating with streamers, and I think it's a hard sell. I actually think if it becomes more of like more relaxed, it is already very relaxed, I feel like, because you can't die or anything, right? I think for a female audience, I think there's probably a broader chance of like appealing to it's full of streams. Excellent work. I feel like I've missed some contributions here. I think the controls have a reason to exist. I do too, but like the question can still provide something. Right. I feel like I have to focus on, if I'm going to pursue it, I have to focus on the game that I kind of am imagining a bit more, because... Oh, so they tuck into the loops. Sorry to interrupt. Oh my god, okay. We figured out something about my dog's harness, and it has made it so much easier to walk him. Because it's literally designed to slow him down if he starts pulling, and we didn't know that. And it's like revolutionized the walks. You gonna go for a walk? No, I'm just gonna... Okay. Did you hook the front? Yeah, there's a loop that it goes through, and now suddenly it's a no pull harness, right? And now suddenly he's like, oh, you know what? It's my idea. I'm gonna chill with you guys now. I'm done leading. I'll kind of hang out with you guys. We're like, oh, help my time. Yeah, he's suddenly like volunteering to like, I'll hang back. It's cool. And then, like the whole. So I don't think we're this game.
Do you want to know the best thing about being dead?
I think we're in the more chill paddling world. Okay. So yeah, so I'm going to be spending the next week, I think, getting ready to work on the next thing. So what I'm spending today is sort of talking about Tubin and just kind of figuring out like what the hell am I going to do with this? Like, do we pursue it or whatever? So I think what we can do is I will add WASD controls to the game on itch and just see if that kind of helps with overall feedback. And I'm just going to swap it out. And then I'll have the option for the paddle controls. But by default, I think I'll just jump into the WSD thing. And just to see if there's a better response to it from that. And then, okay, like now that I know that people are responding to that better, even though I hate it, it's like most people don't. So they're all wrong. This is like in flight games when people can change the sticks. And they're like, why am I going up if I'm pushing down? And it's like, no, don't change it. I think so, Mudbound, but that's every suggestion I'm getting from people who play it. I think so. But I agree, Mud. I agree that it kind of undermines the point of the game. I totally agree. But what I'm going to do to kind of keep the soul there a little bit, W is forward, S is backwards, and then A and D are paddling to go left or right. So it still has that rotational thing. And I think I'm going to insist on D rotates counterclockwise, A rotates clockwise. I think part of it is an onboarding issue too. I think it could also be the position of the keys. There was a suggestion, multiple people suggested having paddle forward be above and paddle backwards be below. And I did that, and then I got complaints about it hurting. That it actually hurt, like it was, that it was hard to do that. So then I started putting it inline, and that was confusing. Keys that are only doing a single paddle. Well, they do. Q does a single paddle. P does a single paddle. Yeah, they do already. So like, let me show you. How do I get to the... When it's WSD? You mean bring back the tapping? I mean, you can tap right now. No, W as in both paddles forward. So what would W do then? The A and the D are the single paddle. A left paddle backwards, right paddle forward. What? I'm sorry, I don't follow. A left paddle backwards. So for me, W will be this. It'll be forwards. S will be backwards like this. And then D will be this. right? And then A will be this. WASD are for both paddles at the same time. I'm not quite sure I follow. So forward is, with the game the way it is, forward is both paddles at the same time. Yeah, W, that's what W would be. That's exactly what I said. W will be this. So this would be W, right? This would be A. So you'd be pressing A right now. This would be D, right? And then S would be both paddles for backwards. Now the question of if you're pressing W and D, for instance, what does that do? Could be paddle left back. A could be paddle left back. Paddle right front. Wait. So you guys keep saying one button and that's doing... Oh, I see what you're saying. Faster rotating. Well, I mean, we have Q and E too. So we could do like Q for like just a single, I guess. Or we just integrate the W button. So if you're pressing forward and then you press A, the implication is that you want to have the other button being triggered. I think that's probably a more logical way to do it. So you hold down W and you start pressing A, and this happens, like where you're doing this. So the other button stays going forward, and now you're applying the other rotation or something. But I'm talking about completely abandoning. I don't know. I'd have to implement it. I think already changing what I'm suggesting doing is maybe before we know what it's like, we should try that first, and then we can see what's working about it or not. But the idea is to reduce the mental load on the player, because that's what's tripping people up. I'm confident of it. So we kind of want to actually restrain even more, which sucks because I feel like there's like, you know, it's kind of cool, but I think removing that is the yellow paint of the game, and it's kind of a necessity to bring on people who don't have the patience to try and figure it out. Which is, I think, most people nowadays, because people don't even read books anymore. So, and then of course the bounciness and all that kind of stuff too. But no, we'll get there. I mean, yeah, I appreciate the feedback on the controls for sure, because is it really the position of the keys? I'm not sure. I think the suggestion has been enough to do WASD. The funny thing about the WASD thing is, like, have you ever tried that? You mean the way every game is controlled? No, I never even thought to do that. Hey, maybe you should it's like the whole reason why I separated everything and did it the way I did it was to be like, look, this is a little different than your standard inputs. I was doing that on purpose to signal to the player, hey, like, free your mind a little bit, because, like, this is a little different. So I intentionally, and I put it, I set it up that way on purpose. And I do think it's funny that the suggestion is like, hey, have you tried the way every other game controls? It's like, oh, fuck. Damn it. But it's funny because in the end, I'm like, fuck. Damn it. Like, I guess I should have. But I still want it to be a little unconventional, where forward, backwards, and then rotates, right? And yeah, okay. So, but I get what you guys are saying about the both of them thing, and yeah, I think we'll just do that, where it's like, okay, it's doing both for clockwise, counterclockwise kind of thing. And I think the default flapping speed, if you're holding, could have been faster too. But the funny reason why I didn't do anything about that is because when I was getting people testing it, I was getting complaints about it being too responsive. So it's like it really felt like I couldn't win. Where when I was testing it, I was getting. It was literally the thing I've heard about playtesting sometimes, where you're getting like you change it, and then you're getting complaints about it should be more like the way it was. So there's something wrong when that's happening. I'm doing something wrong. And there's something that needs to change. And I think part of it is the animations and all that stuff, and like the way this communicated to the player and all that. Like all that needs to come into play, and then I think the feedback will start to be right for the player. So, but like that they're saying that doesn't mean they're wrong. It means that what I'm trying to do is not working, and I have to change it. That's what the feedback is actually saying. And I just don't, without pursuing it further. It would be foolish to ignore the feedback. It's just that and this is where metrics and all of this stuff, I think, come into play. So going forward with the tubing thing, I think I'm starting to get like an idea of it. So metrics is for sure. Ideally, if I could capture playthroughs, not record the video, but record the inputs and play it back, right? And have that be a deterministic thing. Are you fucking serious? Metrics, analytics. This is like for sure. Capture sessions using player inputs. So this isn't impossible, even with physics. This is a question. There are some questions for Wallaber I think I might need to send his way. It's just as important when to listen to it. Yeah, I agree with that too. But I think overall, when I see the scores on the game play at 3, the lowest score is the gameplay. And I feel like I actually made a really fun game. Then I expect the same thing to happen if I didn't change anything and I made it a full game. I expect the same result to occur. So like knowing that ahead of time and doing something about it is good. But the question is what? But I think we shouldn't knock the WASD thing until we try it as well, because it might be just as fine where you're like, yeah, you know what, it's kind of still the same. And you can still, the old controls are still there if you want to. So there's that. But yeah, the feedback in the actual jam, where is it? Over here. Overall, how enjoyable is the gameplay was pretty low compared to the rest of the response to it. So, but I know what you're saying too. And that's something I've really struggled with as a streamer, is to like, and partly is because it's literally, I know that somebody's watching me making a suggestion, and how do I basically shut it down in a polite way, especially if it's literally after like 3 days of research or working on a problem and I'm near the end of it and they're telling me, why don't you do it this way? Or you should really do it this way. And that's where it's really hard to be like, you know what? Commercial break. All right, I'll be right back. Excuse me. Hell, everyone's telling me something happened, bud. You want to fess up? What happened? You look like you did something. Yeah. What is it? What did you do? Huh? Blah. Well, okay. So metrics and analytics, and I think going forward, this is like, I've got to build some. Oh, you guys don't see what I wrote. Ah, move my head. Oop. I have to build some tooling for this. I've got to create a workflow for it during development and stuff, just going forward. Capture sessions. Even though we're a physics game, again, if we capture time, if we know the time that the input occurred at in game time, then we can flawlessly execute the physics, the way that the waves work and how it's progressing along time, as how the shader is integrated into that. We should be able to reposition everything exactly as it was when that input occurred and all that stuff. Now, Jolt, I don't know. Is Jolt physics deterministic? It is deterministic. Okay. So cross-platform deterministic. So if you enable that on Jolt, then that ensures that the physics are deterministic. Now, I wonder how much of let's see. So another problem with the idea of a deterministic thing with Godot and Jolt is that I don't know that this will be true across every single platform, in so much as if you record inputs for like a Linux build and then you try to play it back on Windows, does the global variables, does the memory allocations and all that, if they aren't exactly the same, then things might not quite play out the same either. So we still might be able to do it for recording gameplay playbacks using player inputs. We'll see. We might have to record a bit of world state change when I don't know. We'll see. So new control scheme is a yes. And then basic expected refactor of jam jank. Jam code jank. So in the last hours of the jam, invariably you end up with hack code, which is absolutely what was happening at the end of the jam. Yeah, on the last day. I was locked in though, guys. That was crazy. It was crazy how locked in I was. But you know what was great is because as the time lessened and Oh, they're already in, Colt. We got 6th. I didn't know you guys could have voted. So I sort of screwed myself. I feel like I probably could have done higher. That I did not know. Let me show you the results. We got 6th overall. So innovative, we were at number 4. Theme, we were at 4. Sounds and the music, adding to the experience, 5. Overall, 6th. Aesthetically pleasing, 12th. And then enjoyable gameplay. This is where I think the controls played into it. I did vote. Oh, you did vote? Oh, okay. And then enjoyable is 18. And I do think that we could have been higher, again, had we just kind of rolled our eyes and been like, okay, we'll do WASD, and, you know. But it was good. We did good. I think of the ones that beat me, I feel like Sunburn Circuit or Campbell's Cassette Barbecue. These were the 2 that were the standouts for me. This one was really good. The Simpsons are responsible for Ohio. Ohio doesn't exist. It's like Narnia, or I don't know, like some other place. I'm gonna mute it. It's very loud. It's hurting my ears. Oh, it's so choppy though. That was the only bummer, is the performance is a little off. This one was a cool game, guys. Was it Spacebar? Spacebar was the drift. I missed the boost. Oh, I just locked up. My controls just locked up. There's a cheat right there. This one was fun. Oh shit. See, that's me. That's my old Oh no! Anyways, you get the idea. It's a blast. Is this sprite stacking? It's a pseudo... I know. No, I noticed the same thing. It's a pseudo 3D thing. The developer said that in hindsight it was a mistake, but... not as bad as fucking around with the controls, and... he could have put left on Q and right on P. And everyone could have said, this shit! Have you tried WSD? Yeah, you don't really notice it when you're playing. Because I'm so focused on the lines in the car. So what I'd like to do tomorrow, how much time do we have? What I'd like to do tomorrow is start to try and like take a look at what I have besides the inner tube thing and try and do some research on Steam and see if I can take anything that I've done already and judo it into another release of some kind that is a cross section of, like, Operation Sellout is about doing the complete manipulation of the market says this, and there's these intersecting areas, and let's build a Venn diagram of Cricket's games that he's made that we know he can do, kind of, right? And then all right, so we got tactical here, we got weird ass dungeon crawling thing possibly here, multiplayer thing here, we got, you know, the puzzle game thing here, which I still not very confident on. I feel like it's an easy one to get out, but I don't think it'll get, I still think it's missing something. And then the idea of the inner tube thing is we're going to have to come up with some sort of schedule where that's a part of my workload, is to improve the inner tube stuff and get that ready for, like, if we set the goal of next year's Next Fest for spring, the spring Next Fest, even though it's kind of a summer game, but I feel it leads into it, right? Because the next fest that is the closest to what makes sense for the game's sort of setting is spring. I'm gonna blow my nose here. I'm like an old man. So then I'm an old man. What am I talking about? So, but we do want to, sorry, I brushed my teeth. I've still got like fluoride, and even though I mouthwashed, I try to do it fast. I can't stream with like bad breath. Like if I drink coffee and I'm streaming, I have to eventually go brush my teeth. Just have to. Like, I feel like, because it feels like I'm talking to somebody in real life, so I don't want to like be blowing coffee breath in their face or something, you know. But yeah, so then we take Operation Sellout as the Venn diagram of like, okay, my limitations with art, my abilities and the things that I've made in the past, Steam. Where do these things intersect? Where that overlapping Venn of the circle is biggest. So that is Operation Sellout. Where is it? It's not here. Where did it go? My drawing. Here, no. Ah! What is today? 8. Here we go. So yeah, Operation Sellout is essentially this. Is Cricket skills, Steam, market, analytics, prior work, and maybe it's not, and we go bloop bloop, and wherever the biggest like bloop here is, right? So whatever's in here in the market. So then we bisect this. Right? So we take this area of the Venn overlap. And we say, okay, what's the most interesting thing in here that could propel us to the finish line of some sort of thing? Practical's Game Jam. I wouldn't be able to do this because my son's birthday is in the middle of this. Not his actual birthday, but his party. Also, I feel like maybe I can only do a game jam a year. At least solo. Yeah. Is this rotating? Is that going up and down? What the hell? I feel like I'm on drugs. What is happening here? What is this? Is this a hint to the theme? The little bubbles and everything? And the like bouncy waterness? Is that an CSS thing now? That you can do that? That's not a JavaScript thing? God, you remember when we thought we beat the GIFs and everything and we were like, oh, you know, the web's going to be so nice and clean going forward. And then we just brought it all, we got rid of Flash and everything. And then we just brought it all back. Now, you know what? Let's just, you know, people like that stuff. Let's bring it back. And now I feel like I'm having a fucking stroke. Like, I honestly thought maybe I needed my eyes checked. Like, because there's like certain things my wife's like, if this is ever happening to you, you tell me immediately because it means you might go blind. And I'm like, okay, because she worked for like an optical for a long time. She's like, if you just ever start seeing like white flashes or whatever, like you got to tell me right away. You got to go to the eye doctor. Because you could be suffering a retinal detachment. And if it happens, you'll be blind. And it's like, oh my God. Did you guys see that? There was a cop video going on the rounds on the online with the guy who picked up Burger King, and the cop said was getting breakfast, even the guy didn't say that. You guys see that? You guys see that? You know what's funny is a lot of people are like, oh, it's a Sergeant Dumbass, and like, oh, what an idiot and everything. And I know exactly why everything is happening because I know what they're doing, and it's not him being dumb. He's waiting for the dog. He's prolonging the traffic stop by adding confusion. Instead of the driver exercising his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, he continues to talk to the officer, which prolongs the engagement while they wait for the availability of a drug-sniffing dog. But at the end of the traffic stop, the cop's like, you know what? I'm just going to let you go. Even though he was certain there was drugs or some shit going on, right? And suddenly the cop's letting him go. Why? 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 I know why. The dog wasn't available. It's that simple. That's all that was. But everyone's like, wow, he's dumb. That cop is dumb. He doesn't know what he's doing. And it's like, no, he introduced the confusion on purpose, guys. Like, you don't talk to the cops. Just don't, like, okay, sir, just, I'm sorry for my violation. Go ahead and give me my ticket, you know? And then if they start asking questions, other than where are you going and where have you been. They really can't. You don't have to answer anything else, really. And just zip it. Don't talk to them. They are not your friends. And if you are innocent, it doesn't matter how much you talk. They're not looking for innocence. Might sleaze my way out of it, right? Yeah. They're not asking you here's the deal. They're not asking you a series of questions to reduce the likelihood that you committed a crime. They're asking you a series of questions to increase the likelihood that you committed a crime. It's the exact opposite of what you think is happening. Especially the bad ones. It depends on the town you're in and everything. But goddamn, it's frustrating to watch that and everyone be like, oh wow, he's just a dumb cop. And it's like, well, actually, he's really smart. He knows what he's doing. The worst part, though, is you get to see them lie to their superiors. That's the part that's gross, guys. That's the part that makes me fucking sick. Is when they take what's going on and then somebody will ask for a higher ranking person to come down, a supervisor. And then when you know that you've already lost that is when the supervisor goes to the officer first. And they talk, and then the supervisor comes to you. It's already over. You've already lost. Whatever color the officer wants to paint you in, they can do it. They will, and they will lie to their superior. And then the superior comes to you, and anything you say, he's not going to listen to because he already knows the truth from his buddy. All right, that's my rant for the day for cops. Florida, I don't know how you're in Florida, Mudbound, because goddamn, those guys are the worst. In some places in Florida, those cops are horrible. I don't know all the areas, but I know there's a lot of bad ones. I think it's more like, are you near the interstates and stuff like that? Yeah, it must be the town you're in. It's really, most state cops are the ones that are really the assholes. It's your CHPs, your basically highway patrol. Highway patrol in particular tends to be really bad. All right. I'm in such a small town and don't have a PD. We have county cops to chill with them occasionally. Yeah. That's where you just care about your sheriffs. Like, you get involved in your voting for your sheriff. And you just do a lot of research on them and their prior experience. And if they were a police officer or something like that, you want to look up their records and see if they're on the Brady list and all that kind of shit. And just make sure you're not voting in an asshole. You know? Yeah. See, that's a good thing. Because, yeah, I can go upside down so quick. It's crazy. Yeah, so Cricket Strengths, prior work, Steam Market Analytics. What do we got? And as far as prior work is concerned, I mean, really we're left with the tactics game. There's so much there that I did that looking at tactics as a genre on Steam and thinking about that, tactics / cozy I feel like is a genre mashup that's probably good. And that's why I was thinking like the cooking game and all that kind of stuff. But the limitation there was really an asset problem of like, well, how the fuck, like, how do I do this? Like, I don't have the assets and, you know, so stuff like that. So cozy game. Yep. I feel like that's a potential. And then we have the dungeon crawler multiplayer thing, which is like fun, but it's definitely not a 30-day game thing, right? So this becomes a really big ask. And then, I mean, there's other stuff I've done. I have the algorithm for solving pictographic pictograms and stuff like that. Right. No, it definitely can't be. And then the thing I mentioned in the Discord was G Police, which when I started to break it down, I realized it really was a 3D Desert Strike. Oh my God. Fuck, that's what I get for not leaving Discord open every day. Oh my God. Okay, that wasn't so bad. So G Police is like a really?
Rena.
We're here.
God damn. Hang on. I'm gonna throw this over in Firefox. Because we've got that ad blocking. Oh my God. Or we don't. Wait, it redirected to an ad. Hold up. What? Oh, I see. I copied the link to the ad. So G Police is like a 3D. This was a Psygnosis game released on PS1 and PC back in the 90s. Please excuse the crudity of the presentation here. Why are we not actually looking like we're 4K? There's our beautiful 4K. Essentially, you're like in an Apache style helicopter. There's like 3 different views you can do. There's a cockpit. This is one of the external ones. There's a better one than this. I don't know why anyone would do this one. This is very disorienting. But essentially, it was like you had these different missions and stuff, and you were in these domes, and you were like on a moon in the solar system around a planet. I can't remember which one. But that was the excuse for the load screens. Basically, was yeah, that one. Yeah, that's totally 2D. That one's amazing. I've been following the developer on Twitter for a long time. Yeah, his game's really coming along. I believe it has a demo now too. But yeah, so this would be, I would go kind of hard after this. The draw distance on this is so low, but if we imagine like a Blade Runner setting with lots of emissions, a lot of glowing, fluorescent lights, and we could totally do a way better draw distance than this thing's showing, right? And essentially, it's just you go around and there's a story beats to it, radio traffic, there's comms, is dispatch, and like radio, what do they call it? I guess it is radio traffic, but just people on comms and stuff like that. So more like Airwolf. Yeah, so I figured this is a 3D Desert Strike kind of thing, but I'm not familiar with Airwolf's gameplay. But essentially, you're in a futuristic Apache helicopter going around blowing shit up all the time and stuff. And this is like an escort mission. But so the challenges for this is a 30-day. I feel like I could get the majority of like the design in like a proof of concept in 30 days. oh, Airwolf. Yeah, I know that. I know what you're talking about. So But yeah, I think I could do this in 30 days. The bigger problems with it that are things that are kind of new to me is we're dealing with pathfinding in 3D. Now I've done that in the tactics game, but this would need to be dynamic. And I've seen people struggle with this before on Twitch. With dynamic 3D pathfinding being kind of a problem space. So I have a feeling that would be one of the bigger, that kind of shit. But specifically like just weird oddities with like resolving like things, what you should expect with your eye, as in there's supposed to be a human being in that vehicle right now who's smart, but you're doing pathfinding and then stupid shit starts to happen, right? So like, and there's like a sim layer on this where we're going to have like traffic, like actual vehicles on the ground and stuff like that, right? So, but this game would be vastly improved with a better draw distance. And, you know, Blade Runner, like setting and just leaning into that and maybe keeping some of the chonky, early texture, you know, non-mapped textures and stuff, maybe doing that, but not having the PS1 jank, maybe, or maybe we try to do it cleaner, but this would involve actually modeling stuff. And so I think I would try to use not Blender, but that one modeling tool that everyone's been recommending me for 3D that's not quite Blender, because I just need something I can get to work for me, fully embrace that style. Yeah. Blockbench, is that the one? Yeah. But this is like where my heart is right now. Is this G Police and Colony Wars were two of one of my, like, that was like, Psygnosis was one of those companies where I was like, fuck, I wish I could work there. They were in England, I believe. And but I always like had mad respect for Psygnosis and their stuff. So this or Colony Wars, but I feel like this is a better way to go because Colony Wars has that like descent control scheme going on, which I don't want to move from one hard to control game to another. Not right now. And I think this has like, the other challenge with this is scripted events, right? So we would need some way of scripting gameplay events, pass fail scenarios. Notoriously difficult. We'll see. It won't be helicopter controls. It's a hovering vehicle. It looks like a helicopter. I'm not going to go with and I know we do have a frame of reference for this game. We can bust this game out and look at its control scheme and everything like that. I remember this controlled really well. But yeah, getting it going, I'm going to trust you on that. So we'll see. But the inner tube thing really bolstered my confidence with like, okay, I think I can actually like do like the game thing for like a 3D game. Like where one of the breakthroughs I had with Tubin when it came to like doing this in Godot was the idea that occurred to me where because a lot of times you sort of need to build like a level editor, right? And it's like, oh shit, I have to build all this stuff where ultimately you have this thing where you can start to lay out 3D objects, but then it's like, well, but really it should be in an editor because that way we can serialize the data, and then, you know, and now our loads are like way less and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And all of that's true. But the thing that occurred to me was, well, if I do that containerization in the creation of the level, I can just take and load the Godot scene, serialize the scene, and then use that for the reconstruction of it, which is what I started to do with tubing that revolutionized, like, oh my God, like I could suddenly, all of these like weird problems that I was worried about, like it just kind of went away. And I was like, wow, I could just do this and this and this. And like, I felt like I was free. And that's why I was so confident during the development of the game that the last day I could start to just like lay out the stage and like put everything in and blah, 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 and all that stuff, because I developed this way of like kind of doing that, but not at the same time. I don't know how else to describe it, because without getting into the details of essentially what I was doing was I was just taking the stage, ripping everything out and throwing this into an array, and then being like, okay, now I can pop them back in when I need to. Yeah, it does. It does. But it does. Yeah, it does let you do that. And that's what I did with the development of the stage and everything like that. But when I needed a quick reset and all that stuff, that's when I decided I would take it, I would load it in, I would rip all of those things into the array, take them out, literally take them out of the scene tree, and then I choose when I reintroduce them in. And so that's the big thing that like was like, oh, so that became like, oh, I can still serialize all this. And like, if like with Tubin, I should be able to have that like instant load. I don't right now, but I know I can because of how I can grep it all. But yeah, Tubin's initial load right now is brutal. At least for my tastes. I got accused of having that fake load bar thing, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. No. No! I would never do that. I've been vehemently against that. I've said as much. This, you know, I never want to see this. Fuck this. This is the old way. But like, you know, I developed this really fast way of, Godot has all these things for you to do it, but, you know, threading your load, and even on top of that, another realization I had with threaded loading is if I'm getting in elements threaded, they're going to come in disparately in different, like, not guaranteed order, right? But that doesn't mean that I still can't prepare them even more in an unordered way. So when we load in the resources threaded, I can still do other things threaded to get it all ready still. So that's another thing that I realized where I'm like, wow, I think I can have like really fast load times and then zero loads. So I can kind of have it both ways. But this just seems like a fun thing to have and to put in front of people. And I think a lot more people watching the stream, for instance, would see this and be like, I want to play that. Could I play that? You know, I think that would be a higher probability as a streamer to put something that looks like Blade Runner in front of them and be like, you want to play this? I'd be like, I'll play it. Then like weird inner tube game, which I do think has an audience, but I think for dev streaming, it's not like it's not a winner. I don't think so. But for streaming, I think this is it. But I do think the tubing game has probably a larger general audience, and that's what I'm saying. How do I find them? What I'm saying that is, like the cross section, like how does that work? And like, what does the trailer look like? And all that stuff. That's what I'm thinking in my head is like, okay, how do I like present and speak to that audience to get them to see it? And so the tubing thing for me going forward requires more modeling, custom modeling. Like I was using assets for everything, but I would definitely need to get my modeling game up. I want to talk to Second Favorite and schedule a time with him to have him kind of give me a run through of Blender and all that stuff. By the way, I need to shout out M and Second Favorite for helping me with the jam again. I really didn't do any shout outs today. I apologize. And I've been gone. What was it? I don't know how many people are watching right now. Not that many. Not that many. There's 7 of you. I've been sick, you know, so I've been out. What I think Wednesday was when I did the jam, the final day, and then I was gone Thursday and Friday. I was dead sick. And then Sunday was my mom's birthday, and so that was the first time we had her birthday since she's passed, and so you know, I kind of took a chill day on that too. But yeah, I feel like this has a lot of like, see, that's stupid. He hit like a stoplight and came to a dead stop. Damn, dude, how did they do? You had to do it all back then, guys. So most of Psygnosis 3D stuff was based off of Crazy Ivan. That was the groundwork for, I believe, they used the Crazy Ivan code for G Police and for Colony Wars. So they sort of had an in-house engine for some of their 3D stuff back then. But I mean, I think the turnaround time between the guys that did Crazy Ivan and then released Colony Wars was like 6 months. You didn't have Git. You didn't have any of that shit. And in 6 months, they bust out a fully 3D game, pass cert and everything for PS1. It's insane. There's a lot of tailing missions and stuff like that. I feel like when you're doing this stuff, you need the radio chatter. That's the word I was looking for, chatter. To be like kind of entertaining. If you're going to have follow missions where it's funny and you're like, this is kind of funny. And also fail state. And again, the shouts and everything, all that stuff that I kind of picked up from Tubin. I don't know. I feel like my confidence is like way higher now. 10-4 Rubber Ducky. Yeah. You could totally have banter back and forth that's like absolutely a Seinfeld reference, just in like the sci-fi setting. See, that cross traffic could have so much more of that. You could have the Dick Cop mission too, where it's like, look, you need to tell this guy until you can get a traffic offense to pull him over, and then you know, we'll come in and then we're gonna go ahead and, you know, search his vehicle and everything. I guess it doesn't have to be cops either. I really just kind of want to jump into this. I know. It's like, are we the bad guys? Parodies, so a silly version of this. See, that's one of the flight views that I used to fly in. It had this, like, you could free roam the camera. and then you could see the ship, and that was a nice one. Paradis? No, I haven't. Para. Is this it? Oh, okay. The shooter? Yeah. Is Space Cop taken for Steam as a store name? No. Really? Well, shit, boys. I think we have a name. Space Cop is exactly what we could call it. The best goddamn Space Cop I've got. Sergeant. Sergeant Goodman. I'm pairing you up. Your partner, his name is, Steven betrays you later. Steven betrays you later. And then later he betrays you. You're like, oh, fuck, I didn't expect that. Goodman. My name's not betrays you later. It's actually betrays you now. From the Betrays You Now Corporation. What? Okay. So, Operation Sellout. If we consider Tubin as a part of this, Patrick Betrayas. Oh my god. Betrayas. Betrayas. Something's not right. They're always one step ahead of us. Every time we do a sting, it's like they know. Oh my god. Patrick Swayze. Betrays. Oh, there we go. Patrick betrays. Okay, it's even funnier. Betrays. Oh my gosh. And secretly, now, how hard do you think it would be for Sony to approach Sony with an almost fully completed G Police clone and be like, hey, you guys are sitting on this. You guys have Sony Liverpool, which is what Psygnosis was. So you guys have the rights to this. You mind lending them? Um, how hard do you think that would be? Like, here's the game. Also, if you say no, don't get mad when I release it and change enough about it so that you can't say that that it is. You don't know if you don't try, I suppose. Secret desire of a Jeep release like clone. So that's in here. So we're going to do some research for that, because I feel like this does fall under Cricket's strengths, that I could do this. And it does fall under prior work, because I feel like the stuff that I've learned with tubing can fall so much into it that it's possible. And I feel like it's something that I'd like to do. I mean, because I want to do it. It's like what's popped into my head. And so maybe this is just something that we're just constantly doing with Operation Sellout. Is like just better honing where I am and where the market is. And instead of trying to like 4D it, we just constantly go, okay, if I want to open my market out more, I take a look at myself and I say, where are my weaknesses that if I expanded on them and made them stronger, that I would make this thing bigger? And even if it wasn't based on prior work, which I would say is you building your abilities up, right? Where it's just generally strengths and stuff. Like, how do we make more of this to be a thing? Like, how do we take this and cross the streams over even more? So that's, I think, the game we have to play ultimately. So maybe the thing about this is tomorrow I start to look at, okay, here's where I think the game would be at. Like as far as looks, play, and all that stuff. Okay, so now what's the cross section? Like in Steam, what are those things? And I start to look at what they look like. And if they have demos, I could try them out, see how they play, that kind of thing. And then maybe I actually get the game going and I just sort of play it a little bit to get a feel for it. Ah, shit. Commercials. Well, so, but I really do like this. I do think, though, the other thing that makes this hard is the prototyping, because I'm going to basically need to start building models and stuff like that, right? So using, what was it you said it was called? Blockbench. So using Blockbench, is that within our scale, our abilities, all that stuff? I have a lot of ideas, too, about being able to develop without having to consider, like, for instance, in Godot, one of the things about texturing and stuff and all that is, like, you want to pack your textures into an atlas so that it's in the memory of the GPU as a chunk, you know? And so to be able to build something that basically allows me to just put elements in Godot that then procedurally generates those atlases to reference when the game is actually built and running. Unless it's the same model also. I see. The batching, they won't batch unless it's the same model also. Right. So like for the particle effects and everything like that, instead of having to like design it as an atlas, if I can design the particle effects and then have a script that runs through Godot and is like, all right, where's all the particle effects? It's right here. Okay, cool. I'm going to atlas them all. And then the particle effect will reference those atlas and UV, coordinates and all that stuff. And now it just sort of does it for me. Making an atlas is less effective for 3D. Really? I didn't know that. Because of the mesh problem. So how do you optimize? So texture optimization with 3D is mostly about size then. But if the mesh is, for instance, with particles, if the mesh is the same with the particle, right? Most of the particles I'll be doing, at least for me, I would be doing as, because the way I like to do particles, a lot of it would just really be a quad. So in theory, that would be the same mesh, right? And that also means in theory, if we do miss texture, like, my wife just put some yummy food in front of me. Mobile. All of the above. Conrad just shouted out Pagorli. Pagorli, I'm sorry I've been missing all your shout outs, dude. I really have to get a sound going for that. I guess we could do it. I guess we could do it tonight. Oh, thank you, Conrad. Everyone else has. The fuck's that about, huh? We know where everyone's loyalties lie. What the fuck? It's 8:30 p.m. for me. What are we talking about? What do we do? UTC, so we can figure out where we're all at? Where are you at? What's your time zone? I'm Mountain. Oh shit. So tonight wouldn't be good, right? Is this the kind of thing I should be doing in the morning with you, for me? I need to go to work in 12 hours so I can play 10 hours. With my game, I was able to get my billboards and decals to batch render, but those are all basically the same mesh. Okay. Yeah, Jacob, I appreciate it. But this is also why reusing meshes is so helpful, and I think that's why Tubin performed so well, was because essentially, even though it looked complicated, a lot of it was I was reusing. I think we only had maybe 30 different meshes overall. Just let me know what is the time. Well, shit. Well, if I say, so I put my kids down at 7 o'clock, so that's 7 hours for now. Should I find 2 more people for tonight? Yeah. But for me, it would be 7 p.m. tonight for me, which would be, what the fuck? This time thing doesn't work. 3:30 a.m. for me. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So maybe we should be playing in the morning, Conrad. So maybe we shoot for tomorrow morning. Like my time morning is what I mean. So what happened for the train game? Oh, we could do that for prior work. Yeah, the thing is I do want to avoid the big asterisk with, I guess, with all of this for sure, Nymphis, is I'm not doing mobile. Yeah, that's just not happening. So if I did do something like that, it wouldn't be mobile. That is not happening. Cricket's morning is also not good for me. Shit. I miss Steam. I got you, Nymphis. No, I have to do class with my kids. So I have to go, actually. I'm already 30 minutes behind when I should have left. We're talking about playing Peak. I don't know if we need another person, Els, but if you're interested, we're trying to schedule a group together to play Peak together. I shall wait for you. All right, thank you. The word is the word. I gave my word, damn it. All right, Conrad. Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely not planning on not like a few Italians. Yeah. Man, who knew they were so shifty, those Italians? Goodness gracious. I think I said something about their pasta or their cheese or something. I don't know why. Such betrayal. It does sound fun. It's yeah, and there's another Peak-like game coming out from the Goose Game guys. I listened to an interview with the Goose Game people on the Dice Awards podcast, and the guy, like, there's a cutaway. The guy at one point, one of the developers is like, legitimately said, and that's why I think we need a system like communism. And he was not even joking. It was the weirdest thing. But he kind of went on this diatribe, and he's like, "Yeah, I think we need a communist system for." It's like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, the one for the Goose Game guys actually looks like a lot of fun too. Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to start doing some research. I think I am going to just sort of, like, with this as part of the scope of, like, things, start looking at Steam and all this stuff, and include the Secret Desire to make a G Police-like clone, which we'll put into another circle in the Venn diagram. Let me put that here. Duplicate this. It's the holy quadrilogy of Venn intersections. Yeah, there's one using a known psychological approach to that too. We're gonna lose. I forget what it's called. There's some game theory approach to scheduling that works really well, and there's like a calendar system that embraces that. That's really good at finding times that work for people. Because it is. It is sort of a problem. What is going on here? I don't know. That's weird. I think Google even does that. Oh yeah, there's like a name for it. It's like a legit game theory thing though, from like mathematics. It's the same way that they like donor lists and stuff work. I think there's a lot of like stuff included in that. Volleyball Twitch game, baby. I feel like that I can throw that out free to the world. That's I was talking about that because I have a solution for the delay and everything else. That's when I put that in your chat and your Discord. Something clicked for me and I realized I was like, oh, I can actually totally get rid of the delay. It's mine. Yeah. Oh, to compare Google calendars. Is it the Nash equilibrium? Is that what it is? I feel like that might be it. Anyways, let's go ahead and see who we're going to rate out to. Tomorrow I'll continue. We'll start doing some actual Steam research of analytics. And just keep these three things in our mind as we're going through and focusing what we're doing our research on for the Steam stuff. This is Operation Sellout. We're trying to figure out what can we do that might work best for the acquisition of monies. All right. So, And with the idea of trying to keep a rolling 30-day cycle of get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out. And trying to figure out, like, are people interested in this? Or, you know, because even with all the research and all that stuff, like, my abilities and presentation and stuff might not speak to people. And so it's like, okay, well, that's not working. Let's try this. That's not working. Okay, let's try this. Instead of baking something in the oven for a dozen years and then finding out that nobody likes it. That's the fear that stops me for sure. So if I just kind of hack my brain and hack my approach and stuff, I think that'll help me too. But I do recall beginning this tubing process with a lot of people rolling their eyes at he's starting another thing. And here we are with a very complete idea, I feel like. So I feel like I kind of proved myself a little bit. Feels like it. Oh, VR just ended. Weird. It looks like a bunch of people just got sort of kicked from Twitch. Did the nukes drop? There's a bunch of people's streams who are just black right now, and they look like they just ended. That's really weird. Oh, there's Fiera. There's Irad, the betrayer. There's Tim. We can do Tim. I never get to raid Tim, so raid. Yeah, thanks, Els. I'm gonna share it on your Discord once I have the new controls in. I don't want to share it just yet because, like, I think the controls are an obvious things to correct first. Much love to everybody out there. Thanks for hanging out. Tell Tim I said hi. I got to raid and run, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna keep working on this and then convince myself to make G, please. I'm kidding, but not really. I don't know. All right, guys. See ya.